Hey Brandon.
Hi Mark, how you doing?
Good. This seems like we've done this before.
Yeah, this is like our fifth take, but that doesn't matter. Uh, We have an intro issue, but we fixed it, right?
Yeah. Well, we'll see. No more stopping. We're just pushing through right now. So today we're doing something different. Go. We're gonna go into some philosophy, I guess.
Yeah, I think so. I
Stoicism.
would. That's what I was. That's what I would consider it, Stoic philosophy. Something that we both kind of over the since we started this, we've both kind of been like reading about some of this logic, and
Mm-hmm.
I think that it's really interesting, and it's using this hermetic term, it's in harmony with
Oh,
ah it's in
nice.
harmony with some of
Yeah.
the other things that we've been reading. So I thought Mark mentioned this last time, and he we picked up the same text.
Yeah, I just figured we'd do a short one, so it wouldn't be all like 4 episodes long.
Yeah, hopefully we can get this in one episode,
Yeah, I think we can.
and it's from Seneca. What's his first name? Lucius something
Lucius
Seneca.
Aeneas
Lucius Aeneas
Seneca.
Seneca, and it's actually his text, his essay. What would you call it? An essay?
Yeah, because it's a letter
It's okay. It's a
to
letter.
to
Oh,
uh,
it's
to a
to
guy
Paulinus.
Paulinus. Yeah. So it's and I don't know. They titled it on the shortness of life, and then I think this is obviously somebody else's little
Yeah, life
life
is.
is long if you know how to use it,
Yeah,
kind of thing. But so it was a letter that he wrote to
to
Paulinus,
Paulinus.
and this one's translated. This one just happens to be translated by John W. Bassor.
Yeah, good job, John. It was a good translation.
Yeah. So,
Like I would know, but yeah.
of course, as I was looking into this, I realized that Seneca is the most controversial of all the Stoics. I was like,
Yeah,
son of a gun!
yeah. Well,
Like, why can't we just pick the one that everybody's like? But anyway, it's fine.
and it's also
It
late.
doesn't matter.
It's late too, right? Like
Well, I think.
Stoicism, the roots of Stoicism started a couple hundred years before Seneca's time.
Well, I know, but I think Marcus Aurelius
Was later?
and
Was
yeah.
Marcus later? Oh, okay.
I believe he was. Yeah.
So do you know
Because
why Seneca is considered less than
be, okay,
yeah.
yeah, the reason that I understand is that have you ever heard of Caligula?
I've heard of a band called Caligula's Horse.
Well, anyway, Caligula and Nero.
I know Nero.
Nero.
I know Nero very well.
Okay, was Nero a great emperor? A
Yeah,
good one?
he
He
was
was.
Nero's advisor. No, he wasn't. I no, depending on who you ask.
That's
If
what I'm
you're asking a
saying.
Christian, he was
But
the worst emperor of all time.
yeah.
But
So I guess he had something to do with Caligula, I
okay,
guess, and I don't know what exactly, but then Nero too,
he was
and
Nero's advisor.
and so anyway, there's like, well, you know, maybe his actions and some of the things people that ended up following or he taught didn't live up to the standards. So
Okay,
it's kind of like that where they want people to be perfect.
yeah, okay.
So anyway, he's more of the controversial, but his words are still good. So I don't know what to say to that. But just a basic overview of Seneca.
Awesome, sweet.
We'll do that. He was born in Hispania, which is Spain area.
Was he?
Yeah,
Okay.
but he was raised in Rome, and he lived 4 BCE to 65. What's the one after CE? Yeah,
Yeah.
and so he was right there at the end of it and the beginning. Oh, not
He
um,
was alive during a very transformative time, right? Like when a
yeah,
lot of the world was changing,
yeah,
and
because 65 CE. I mean, Christianity had already developed.
it was just
It was getting
developing.
well.
Yeah.
I'm saying it was starting to spread and stuff. So
Yeah.
I mean, so you're going from the paganism or whatever whatever you want to call it to where the Christianity was being to be spread and this different stuff. So anyway, but he was exiled to Corsica by Emperor Claudius in 41 AD for some reason. But he came back and he became in 49 AD and was a tutor to Nero. And then Nero became emperor in 54 and he brought Seneca with him as an advisor.
Yeah, when it comes to the exiling and stuff, I think I might be wrong, but I think that this really just has to do with like who's in power, and it's kind of like Claudius wasn't liking certain families to be around.
Yeah, or even people that taught certain things. That was the thing in that book that we're reading right now. That the other one,
The Cave in the Light.
Yeah. They're talking about like riots against different philosophies.
Yeah.
Like what? This is crazy. Like anyway, so people took things seriously and they're like, I got to get this person out, you know. So yeah. And,
good point.
And the interesting thing is that eventually Seneca kind of fell out of favor with Nero and he was forced to kill himself.
Yeah, by Nero's command.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So him and his wife killed himself, and of course, as a Stoic, he did it. Just what I have to do. Like I would have ran away. Anyway, one of the interesting things we were talking about before, though, is that Seneca had asthma.
Yeah, that was interesting. I didn't know that.
And when I was young, I had really bad, you know. But of course, there's medications and stuff for it. I don't know how you would live with it.
Yeah, it
would be so hard.
What was the protocol back in 30 CE? If you have asthma, do you just have to like live a life when you're just like not very active? To make sure that you don't,
or certain times of the year. That was my thing. It was certain times of the year.
Okay, yeah.
It would act up.
Yeah.
And so anyway, I just can't imagine back then what they were doing for it. I mean, maybe I did like just the feeling that you get whenever you can barely breathe. You know,
it's
anyway,
true, and we even and then we mentioned whether this has any validity or not. I think it's interesting concept that we mentioned as we were discussing this before we started recording, that maybe his asthma and that kind of a life that you have to live if you had asthma back in a time when there's no like way to fix it or to remedy it quickly, maybe that's one of the reasons why he picked up this philosophical
stoicism.
Yeah.
Like, well, that's the hand you're dealt. You got to deal with it.
Yeah.
You know.
I
mean, it
could have been a factor.
Been an influence. Yeah. But and then another interesting thing is he was down in Egypt from 16 BC or CE to 31.
You know, I'm convinced that all the greats were in Egypt at some point. Did you know I was going to say that? Is that why you laughed?
No, that's why I brought up the Egypt thing, because it's like this. That's where they all go.
Yeah,
you know?
it's just
and
like
they seem to learn something there, and
it's like the place of wisdom.
Yeah, I mean, any great teacher, at least maybe that's a theme too of old literature, is that any great teacher has to sometime go down to Egypt, even if they didn't really. They did, you know. They'll put it in there. I'm not saying that he didn't. But I'm saying in a scriptural thing or whatever.
So one of the things that sometimes I say, I'll do this quickly so we don't get off track too much, is one of the flavors of speech that I use, or I'll occasionally say, "Hey, I need to go up to the mountain," and what I'm referencing is like
some of the weirdest.
I say I need to go up to the mountain. And what I'm referencing is like I need to get away from society a little bit, and I need to like.
Who do you say this to?
Just in passing to like a stranger, probably. No, just I actually do it more often in writing and stuff, or if I'm talking to someone and I'm giving them advice, I say, you know, sometimes we all need to take the time here and there and go to the mountain, right?
Yeah. Okay. That makes
And I'm referencing like Moses going to the mountain, or anybody who's gone up and who's like
No,
gone
that's true.
to a place that's like, and they kind of have like this like refresh, and they kind of come back down ready for life again.
Yeah.
I'm gonna start saying, I need to head to Egypt.
Dude, I'm going to Egypt.
Gotta go to Egypt for a little bit.
I got a one-way ticket to Cairo. There you go.
All right.
Okay. Well, anyway, it's just an interesting thing, and I guess,
Yeah.
I mean, what one of the things it shows is just how much stuff was down in Egypt.
Yeah.
I mean, you know.
We should do an episode sometime on like on Alexandria and stuff.
Oh yeah.
That'd be cool.
Oh yeah, it's definitely. Well, yeah. So, okay. Well, let's get into it. Do you want to give me a fever tree?
Fever tree. We're going fever trees today.
Yeah.
We've had some bad experiences lately.
Oh, so. I had one last night. Did I tell you? We bought. Me and my son went up to Sprouts and bought some. It was the Brooklyn one.
Brooklyn.
Anyways, but it said extra spicy. Like, it didn't have any flavor to it, but it burned our freaking lips. They must have put, like, seriously, my lips were burning. I was like, what the heck?
It's almost like they
put like cayenne pepper or something in there.
Yeah, it's almost like if you have to like state how spicy it is, maybe it's just not a fever. It's not a fever tree.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, this doesn't have. I mean, it's got the spice, but they were counting on not spice, but heat. Like, seriously, my lips were burning for like an hour.
Yeah, that's not the way it's supposed to be.
This sucks.
That's not the way it's supposed to be.
Like, it tasted like the what was that one? The green bottle, the Jamaican one.
Yeah.
That I was all like, oh, I can't wait to try this one. Anyway, it just wasn't a good one. Anyway, so okay, let's get on to this. This one, like we said, is on the shortness of life, and or how are we gonna do this?
It's gonna suck at first.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's just go by chapter and talk about the things that we like.
Chapter 1, the note I wrote.
Okay.
Is that time goes by fast, and most of us don't know how to use it.
Yeah. So that's my take from chapter 1. My little summary from it is, and it was fairly profound to me to read this, because it's, we often think this and we often kind of debate to ourselves whether we're wasting our time or not. But when you see someone write it, and you see and you read someone who wrote it like 2,000 years ago,
yeah,
it's like, okay, this is a real thing. And he spends time talking about, one line here says, very few find life at an end just when they're getting ready to live.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one of the things I had.
Yeah, and it's like, and I thought about it, and I was like, yeah, we spend so much of our life, and for lack of a better term right now, just frivolously just doing things and like wasting our time. And Seneca is taking a moment here and like, yeah, we don't actually live very long. I think he even references animal lives too, right?
Yeah. He says, that, some of these animals seem to live 5 lifetimes that humans live, and humans are the ones, at least the lament is that humans are the ones that have the important stuff to do.
Yeah.
Or so.
Well, and that line right there was where I immediately thought back to the Shepherd of Men. We have important stuff to do. And I was thinking, yeah, that's one of the concepts from the Shepherd of Men, right? Was like, out of all the creatures on the earth, it's humans who have like the ability to see the greater plan, or
do something different than what they have to do.
Exactly. So
that's the big thing. That it's the reason that sets us apart from other.
You're
animals.
Right. That's what it was.
And but unfortunately, like he's saying, we're living the animal life, let's just say, for
Oh,
lack
that's a
of a
good way to.
better
No,
word.
that's great.
And we're like, well, one day I'm gonna be able to do what I want to do, but right now I've got to do
We
this.
look to the future for
Yeah, I mean, it's. We'll read that first, the full quote.
So it says,
Like, start with this space.
yeah. So because even this space that has been granted to us rushes by so speedily and so swiftly that all save a very few find life at an end just when they are getting ready to live.
Yeah. Anyway, I think that's pretty
Good summary there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, and then there's another one I have marked, and I see you have it marked. It's where it is not that we have a short space of time. Okay,
We don't. We have a long 100-year life.
Yeah, we all have the same amount of time every day.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's one of the. But that we waste much of it. Life is long enough, and it has been given in sufficiently generous measure to allow the accomplishment of the very greatest things if the whole of it is well invested.
Yep.
So you've got to, if you,
Profound right there.
your
That's
life
profound.
is long enough, but what are you investing it in? And that's this is kind of the crux of the first chapter, like this last part.
Yep. Just.
Yeah, yeah. Just read that. I mean,
So I'll read the one line before.
Oh,
The life we receive is not short, but we make it so. Nor do we have any lack of it, but are wasteful of it. Just as great and princely wealth is scattered in a moment when it comes into the hands of a bad owner, while wealth, however limited, if it is entrusted to a good guardian, increases by use. So our life is amply long for him who orders it properly.
yeah, I like that because it's saying, and then he begins to kind of use the thing. Hey, you can make of it more than it is.
This is kind of like a what's that genre of book? The
Self help.
yeah, like a self help. This is
Yeah.
kind of like a self help book.
Well, it's funny because I think I mentioned there's this book on how to live on 24 hours a day
Okay.
that I listened to, and I was like, this is so good.
Okay.
And
yeah.
it wasn't until, because actually in the book the guy lays out a plan to start. Hey, how you're working 8 hours a day?
You sleep 8 hours.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, how about you take a little time and think deeply on something, and not even a lot, but anyway. And I was, but some of the things that he recommended reading was Marcus Aurelius and Epictetus.
Yeah.
And
Legends.
So yeah. So and I didn't realize until I read this or found this on LibriVox actually.
Yeah.
That I was like, wait, oh my gosh, this guy. He just used stoicism to build that self-help book.
Yeah, pretty much.
Anyway, it's a really good book. It's How to Live on 24 Hours.
Are you giving it? Are you plugging that in?
Well, I'm just saying if you want a nice practical, like if
Yeah, it sounds interesting.
It's really good.
How to live on 24 hours a day?
How to live for maybe it's for 24 hours. Dang it. How to Live on 24 Hours a Day by Arnold Bennett.
I love that.
Anyway, and it's a short book. It's only like an hour and a half.
That's the best.
Super short, practical. Anyway, so wait, how did we get onto this? Oh, because you were talking about self-help and
Yeah, you're right.
yeah, that regardless of how busy you are, you can take some time. If life, you can take some time for yourself.
Yeah.
To learn something.
This is a self-help video now.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons I wanted to do this is because I think it's really important.
Yeah. Thank you, Mark.
Okay, so in chapter 2, he kind of discusses the misuse of time. I don't know.
Yeah, well, so in chapter 2, he starts off by saying he basically kind of like why he's basically stating how often we complain about things, paraphrasing how it's not fair the way things work,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
or you know
Yeah,
he's
nature kind of gave us a bad lot
yeah,
almost.
yeah, we have all these challenges that take away our time, and how it's just not fair, right?
Yeah. Well, so I got.
I love his list of all the things that people waste their time on too.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's where I have one man possessed by an avarice that is insatiable, another by toilsome devotion to tasks that are useless. One man besotted with wine, another paralyzed by sloth. One's exhausted by an ambition that always hangs upon the decisions of
That's a good
others.
one right there.
Thus, another driven on by greed of the traitor. Some are tormented by a passion for war.
And
Um,
are always bent on continuing to do damage.
yeah. Others are worn out by voluntary servitude and a thankless attendance upon the great.
Oh,
This
that's a
like a
dagger. That's a
political thing.
dagger right
Yeah,
there.
yeah. They're like voluntary servitude, not involuntary.
Yeah.
Voluntary. They're like anyway hitched to somebody else. Anyway, that many are kept busy either in the pursuit of other men's fortunes or complaining of their own. Many, and this is a big one, following no fixed aim, shifting and inconstant and dissatisfied or plunged by their fickleness into plans that are ever new. Some have no fixed principle by which to direct their course. Fate takes them unawares while they loll and yawn.
Yeah, another reference to fate there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that list is awesome. There was several of those the items in that list that I think that from time to time I've been I'm like, oh man, that's me.
Yeah.
But I so much, and I think this is where he's coming from when he was writing it. I see it so much around me too.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, one of the main things is, I think, you want to try to see yourself because it's easy to see others in these. I'm like, oh yeah, I know a person just like, but whenever you can see yourselves, you're like, oh, I've been there.
Yep.
You know, that's an important thing because then you kind of realize, wake up to your what is that? You wake up to the perilous position you're in or whatever,
Yeah, yeah.
But if you're just pointing out everybody else, I mean, and not seeing it in your own life, you'll never get out of it. Is what
I just want to say kudos to this translator, John Basore, for using the word fickleness. I was so happy that he used that word.
Fickleness. That's one that's not used a lot.
Yeah. Plunged by their fickleness into plans that are ever new. That's totally me. I'm always just like starting something, never finishing in it. Yeah. But like I'm like, oh, the total like.
That reminds me of actually because I started reading another one, but I came up some quotes by him out of the Letters from a Stoic.
Yeah.
Anyway, this kind of goes along with what you're saying, but the reading of many books is distraction.
Yeah, that's
that's one of my things. I've been like buying a bunch of books, and it's kind of
that's Ralph Waldo Emerson. That's Ralph Waldo Emerson-ish right there too, talking about like, don't you're wasting your time reading what other people have to say.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I think at some point it's important.
No.
Especially
it is, but in another thing, he's saying like you need to focus because if you're reading a lot from a huge breadth of books or whatever, like you're kind of scattered. You're not focusing.
Yeah, and it's kind of, and another way that I see that is when you're endlessly reading, how often are you endlessly contemplating?
Yeah. You're not taking.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're just eating up. Yeah, there's people that just eat up books, and some of them are, some are good and interesting or whatever, but are they thinking about them?
Yeah, totally. That's a really good point.
Anyway,
thanks for sharing that, Mark.
You're welcome. That's Seneca's thoughts, not mine, though. But whenever I heard that one, I was like, "Oh shoot, that's me."
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I'm getting all these books and like, oh, I'm gonna get to them all eventually. But there's that part in the part of life we really live is small. For all the rest of existence is not life, but merely time. So we're only. He's saying if you look at all your life, you know, all you're doing, all this running around, all this whatever, the part that you're really living, you know, where you're living,
Mm-hmm.
let's just call it living for yourself,
Yeah.
or living for, you know, to learn, or, you know, doing what you want to do, is really small, because the rest of it,
They use the word time, but yeah,
yeah,
all the
you're
things
just
that
biding your time.
all the mundane, menial tasks that we do through life. He's not. He's saying he's basically saying that doesn't count as life.
Yeah,
That's just like,
I mean, yeah. Are you? Yeah. Where's the real life that's lived? And this one little phrase he says, "No one asserts his claim to himself." And
oh yeah,
that we're a lot of times busy working, busy, you know, and all this stuff is important and it's part of life, but are you asserting a claim to yourself in your own life, or, you know, doing your own things, I guess. I don't know.
no, it's that's kind of entrepreneurs like, right? Are you doing what you're being told to do, and are you doing what you like have to do by default all the time, or are you actually consciously like, I'm gonna do this for this reason, here's why I want to do it.
Well, but later he goes on and says, be careful of like business and stuff, because
Well, I didn't mean like entrepreneur.
no,
Yeah,
I
but
know,
yeah, the
I know,
mindset.
but no, it's saying, but people expecting things of us, but are we expecting things of ourselves? I don't know if that's. I don't know.
Deep.
No, not deep. Lame. But anyway, so we'll move on to chapter 3. I think that
Yeah.
pretty much.
Chapter 3 is the chapter that I thought was boring, and Mark has lots of notes on it.
Yeah, what the heck? Well, I thought he was just making. I think you didn't. You might not have liked it.
I wasn't at the right level to hear it.
Yeah, because I'm like up here, and you're like, nope. Because he was just basically reiterating his point.
Yeah.
And this is the point that I was just talking about with the.
I do love the bold here, just so you know.
Yeah. Okay, well, I'll read up to that, and then you read the bold.
Okay.
Okay, no one is to be found who is willing to distribute his money. Yet among how many does each one of us distribute his life? Now, you.
In guarding their fortune, men are often close-fisted. Yet, when it comes to the matter of wasting time, in the case of the one thing which it is right to be miserly. Okay. And the one, because you probably read it on there.
Skimpy.
In the case of the one thing which it is right to be miserly, they show themselves most prodigal.
So people aren't just out there giving away their money.
Yeah.
And everything, you know, they'll be, you know, you go up and ask somebody for money, they'll give you maybe some change or whatever. They're not just, but with the most important thing, their time, they're just giving it away.
Yeah, totally. And I think that that's something that, in a slightly different light. For example, like, so it's Christmas season now, right? Christmas season. Every year we go through Christmas season. And one of the bah humbugs that I have about Christmas is how all someone needs to do is, hey, we have a white elephant, bring this. And everybody's like, okay. And they just do it. Like, no one says no. Like, I'm not going to do that. I have enough things going on this year. You know, we're so quick to just like, oh, is culture around me doing this? I better do it too.
Yeah.
And like, so this is not
bah humbug, Brandon.
I have a lot of bah humbugs. I'm very Scrooge right here. My other thing recently that's happened is, I'm gonna get some negative points on this one, but like, so Disney Plus came out recently, right?
Gosh, yeah.
And everybody's like, "You got Disney Plus?" I'm like, "No."
Yeah. I'm like, I've got enough things right
Yeah,
now.
like it's like no, I didn't get it. It's like, oh, it's only, and then they're like, oh, if you do a 2 year plan, it's only like $4 a month. I'm
Yeah, but that's 2 years worth of.
like, just because everybody is getting it,
I
I'm
don't
not.
need to watch everything.
Yeah,
Did you guys
and
hear?
yeah, there's a doorbell that rang just now.
Somebody's asking if we got Disney Plus. Somebody's down there.
So, anyways, I mean, I'm not gonna go off on that, but
And
yeah, we're so quick to like just like we don't really often we don't think. We're just like, oh yeah, here, what do I need to do? How much money do I need to give you for that?
yeah. Well, that's the thing. Yeah, exact. I like where you went with that
Oh
because no, I mean culturally and stuff too.
yeah,
It's you're just giving away. Are you? I mean, I'm not saying don't enjoy life, and that's the thing that you don't want to be overwhelmed by just trying to be stoic or whatever, but you want to take some time to contemplate. It doesn't even need to be a lot of time, but
yep,
to do something for treat yourself.
yeah,
Treat yourself to something outside of Disney Plus or outside of Netflix or
yeah.
whatever thing is out there now. Because
You do what you need to do,
yeah, and you know what,
and not
and
what others,
there'll be time enough to do all that other stuff too.
if you want. Yeah.
But maybe you could contemplate something deeper.
So you had a lot of things marked in this
Yeah,
chapter. What else you got?
let me just read up the consider how much of your time was taken up with a moneylender, with a mistress, with a
Oh,
patron, a client, wrangling with your wife, Brandon, and me. How much in punishing your slaves, well, or coworkers, whatever,
or yeah,
your minions or
kids.
whatever. Yeah, rushing about the city on the social duties. This is exactly what you're
Uh,
talking about, though.
yeah, yeah.
No, but this is like watching Disney Plus. Oh my gosh, he wrote that in here. No, and then he's saying, so think about those things that you're just wasting time, you're fighting and whatever, spending time. Add to that the disease, um, which have been caused by your own acts,
Yep.
and add the time that has been lain idle and unused, which is a lot,
Yep.
and you will see that you have fewer years to your credit than you count. So if you add all that up and then minus that from life, you're like, oh
You got
shoot.
nothing.
So anyway, that's and when you were when you were ever at your own disposal, when you're oh wait, what is this? Oh, look back in memory and consider. So he laid that out. These are where you're wasting time, possibly. And then he says, look back in memory and consider when you ever had a fixed plan, when you were ever at your own disposal, when your face ever wore its natural expression, when your mind was ever unperturbed, what work you have achieved in so long a life. So, and then he goes on and says, you live as if you were destined to live forever.
Yep.
You squander time as if you drew from a full and abundant supply. And then you say, after my 50th year, I shall retire into leisure. My 60th year shall release me from public duties. And that's when we're 65, we'll retire, and
Yeah.
we're gonna go and travel the world, and we're gonna, and
And then
that is the dream.
and then like a lot of us, like, we retire, and then like within the next few years, like, we're like dependent, we're like almost, we're like dying, or
Or
like,
bored.
yeah, or
How many people are like, oh, they go work part time somewhere?
yeah,
You know?
it's right.
So that's it. And he says, these people that are waiting to live the life. Oh, after this, after I get done with this, he says, what guarantee have you that your life will last longer? Are you not ashamed to reserve for yourself only the remnant of life, and to set apart for wisdom only that time which cannot be devoted to any business? Anyway, so he's just kind of laying it out, and that's why I just think he is reiterating his point in this, and really kind of like hitting it home, like, you're wasting your time. There is time now that you can make to get do things for yourself.
Yeah.
So anyway.
Easy for him to sit there and judge other people.
Yeah, Mr. Asthma. He's just sitting there wheezing. But anyway.
So wheezing, oh, that's horrible.
Wheezing.
So I think maybe it was actually 4 that was the boring one for me.
It's okay, Brandon.
Because 3 was pretty good.
No, there's a lot of good stuff in there. Well, it's fine. Anyway, and then I skip over chapter 8 for stuff I have marked. I don't know. We're not going to go through all the chapters.
Yeah.
We don't want this to go forever.
Yeah,
you know, like you said, lame. Some of them are rehashing of the same thing, and some are things that don't necessarily, you know, they're about rich people and whatever.
Yeah, I mean, one of my things that I do that bugs, and sorry, I'm gonna call you out here. It bugs my wife.
Why?
Is that and I think I've done it.
I'm gonna call Tanya out right now too.
And I've done it on this. You know, this podcast too. But I will like over explain something. Like I'll make a point, and it's like, oh wow, that's a really good point, and then I'll continue to just like beat it down.
Yeah.
And he does that for a few chapters here. He kind of like he brings in a few different like lenses to view it through, but it's the same topic kind of.
Yeah. So I mean.
So I call that. I'm actually calling out Seneca right now.
Like Seneca. Okay, I know you got some time on your hands, you know, but anyway. But so the summary of 3 was man doesn't realize time is a commodity, or as the old thing, or the saying goes, time is money.
Yeah.
You know, if you look at it in that way, you're like, wait, this is kind of your time is precious. That's a better thing, because if you say time is money, you know, whatever, but time is can be precious, and it can be valuable even.
Yeah.
So
good point.
But chapter 8, what do I have for the thing? What would you do? Okay. Okay. So it starts off with no one sets a value on time. All use it lavishly as if it costs nothing. So kind of a reiteration.
Yep.
From where we are. But where is that? But if each.
Yeah, but if each one.
Yeah, to the end of it.
You asked me to read?
You
asked me to read, Mark?
Well, I don't want to just sit here and talk the whole time.
All right. So, but if each one could have the number of his future years set before him, as is possible in the case of the years that have passed, how alarmed those would be who saw only a few remaining. How sparing of them would they be? And yet it is easy to dispense an amount that is assured, no matter how small it may be, but that must be guarded more carefully, which will fail you know not when.
Okay, so he's saying, imagine if you could have
it's a cool way to look at it.
Timeline
if you can look at
before you,
just like you can chart out the past. Like, here's what happened when and how long it took. If you can do that in the past, if you can do the future like you can do the past.
Yeah, and he's like, even if you saw that it was. Say you had 24 hours to live. This is
nice plug there.
Oh no, I wasn't. But I was saying no. But that's all you had left.
Yeah, okay, I see what you're saying.
But he goes and says, it's easy. You can disperse that 24 hours. You can say, okay, I've got this much time. I'm going to spend this much with here, this much there. You can cut. You know, if you know how much you have, just like a budget. If you know how much money you have to spend, you can make it work usually.
Yeah.
So,
well, and that's
he's saying the problem is that you don't know.
Correct.
So you have to be even more careful, because you don't know what the future is. You know what the future will be. So you've got to get your priorities straight. And
is this a little bit of a foreshadowing on his emphasis that he puts on spending like being current, like living in the like being making sure that you're at your full capacity now, because you can't see the future. You can't tell what's going to happen. So to make sure that you're complete, if you're drunken, or if you're if you're under the influence of some kind, for example,
Mm-hmm.
then you're not. There's no way you're going to be at your full capacity to make the decisions that you need to make when
Yeah.
you have that time.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like there's a little bit of like a subtle nudge on. So what you do have control over is now, and you can kind of that's the best you can do
Yeah.
is now.
Yeah. Yeah, because you never know. You don't have. Unfortunately, you don't have that laid out before you, where you can just say, you know what, like I was saying in the other thing. Oh, when I'm 60 years old, I'm gonna really get the things done. Read
Totally.
that book I've always wanted to. Well, why not just start on it now? Why
Yeah.
why are you putting off or procrastinating? What you might want to do.
I think procrastination is a big key here.
Yeah, and that's where we come to the next
Oh, is it where we come
chapter
to the
9.
next? Okay.
Well,
I think that if you're gonna make it, if you feel like you need to do something. For example, for me, let's say I have an addiction, that's how I am. But let's say I'm addicted to let's say I'm addicted to Mountain Dew, for example. Not that I've ever been addicted to Mountain Dew. Let's just say I was, right?
That's what you mean when you say you're going up to the mountain.
Ah. So if I'm that's a good point. There's a lot of clues I give out with what my real intent is. But if I'm going to quit Mountain Dew and I see the need for it, one common thing that I've done in the past is like, oh, I'll start on the first. I'll just start then.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what? That's never worked. What's the only thing that's ever worked for me? This is personal experience from Brandon moment here. This is a self-help video, right?
Okay.
What's worked for me is to start now.
Yeah.
And like if I have Mountain Dew in the pantry, to throw them away.
Yeah.
Don't like, let me finish all these and
yeah.
next week or after Thanksgiving I'll start.
Yeah, yeah. If you're putting it up, if you're setting a future date, it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
That's basically.
What do you want?
I'll take a.
There's a Diet Mountain Dew in there.
No, I'll take a Dr. Pepper. But it's true, and that's why I like this, because it's so practical. Like, you're just like, I think anybody who would read this would be like, oh, I can see myself that I do some of these things.
Yeah, totally.
So anyway,
I do too.
But you hit it head on.
Did I?
Yeah.
Did I? Okay,
yeah,
cool.
Yeah, because you actually bring us to our next thing. It's chapter 9. He says, "Why do you delay? Why are you idle? Unless you seize the day, it flies. Even though you seize it, it still will flee." So even if you're got the day by the horns, the bull by the horns, it's still going to move. It's still fleeing. It's still moving. So therefore, you must vie with time's swiftness and the speed of using it. And as from a torrent that rushes by and will not always flow, you must drink quickly. So drink deeply of the now, or do the do.
Do the do. Go to the mountain.
Mm-hmm. I think that's so good. And actually, this inspired me actually to do something with with our podcast to actually get our podcast
sweet
up.
Is this what inspired you to do the work needed to get it up? And okay.
Yeah, I was like, you know what, I've been putting it off, and I keep on,
man, that cuts deep.
No, and so I was like, and I think I might have texted you, I don't know, but anyway, but I was like, I read this and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do it. Like, screw it. This is something I want to do. Let's get it, and why not get the actual audio up?
Yeah.
Instead of just the video.
Let me quote the Bard. I think it's pretty interesting. I think it's fun. Yeah, he says, see how the greatest of bards cry out, and as if inspired with divine utterance, sings the saving strain. The fairest day in hapless mortal's life is ever first to flee. like, have you heard the saying like when things are going great, time flies.
Yeah,
You
time
know,
flies when you're having fun.
yeah, time flies having fun. You know,
Yeah, and all of a sudden it's over.
yeah, and it's like yeah, whenever it's like don't lie to yourself in thinking that like you're gonna have plenty of time.
Hmm.
Take advantage of it like now.
Yeah.
This is a self help video.
No,
We're gonna
I think that this one
Can we flag this on YouTube as self help at
self
all? Is there
help.
like a way we can do that?
Um.
On the podcast, you can say that, right? You can
Well, yeah.
only at the beginning. I think you can. Yeah, that's too late for us. We won't get the credit being self help.
Well, um, I guess I don't know how we could do it. Oh yeah, I guess we could put it down in the little search things. Anyway, okay, enough. But anyway, but I think it's so important. Like, if you want to do something, why not do it? You know, if you want to start reading that book, if you want to start reading War and Peace, you know, getting through that big old
Yeah, a
book,
huge book.
you just start a little at a time. It's like, you know, and do it, but don't delay, because eventually it's not going to happen if you delay. I like that thing with putting a date on it. Like, I'm going to do it the first.
Yeah,
I've done that so many times with so many different things. I'm going to do this, you know, or stop doing this on this date. And it's like, well, why wouldn't I stop doing it now? Well, I'm going to get all
if it's important to you, why not do it now?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And our culture is really big at like waiting for the new year to like start new like I'm gonna do on my what's your New Year's resolution, and it's really big on that.
Yeah.
Just like whenever you see
It's like,
something
why
that
is
needs
that-
to change, just do it now.
Yeah, why is that such an important date? That the beginning of the new year. It's basically just it's a day on the calendar. It's not like there's something special about it.
Yeah.
But we all do it. And hey, if people have been able to keep their New Year's resolutions, good for you.
Yeah.
Keep it up.
Congratulations.
Yeah. But now we're going to skip ahead to philosophy all the way to chapter 14.
Okay.
And this is kind of where the point, I think, is that some of the things where it's kind of saying some of the things that you might want to treat yourself to, or, you know, or
yeah, this is
put in your life as philosophy.
yeah. This is a good. This is good. I actually haven't gone over this, but I'm paraphrasing. I'm going through it right now, and yeah, this
read the
is
first little sentence.
okay. Of all men, they alone are at leisure who take time for philosophy. They alone really live.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Why do you think? Why would that be?
Well, because so for me, Seneca's definition of living is not
Oh,
letting the autonomous brain take over. Right when we're just in the fray all the time.
yeah.
That's not living.
Yeah. Well, okay. Actually, the next little thing after that.
Oh,
Oh,
is there?
I should have.
Go ahead.
stopped you.
So sorry. Continue.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
For they are not content to be good guardians of their own lifetime only. They
Okay.
continue.
No.
Okay.
I mean, well, I'm just saying, like, oh, because, well, they're. Okay, so what were we saying about that? Okay, philosophy is the only people that are at leisure or living their life because they're actually they're not in the auto.
Correct. Like the animal mind that we just live and we just go. Have you ever like driven somewhere and then when you get there you're like, I don't even remember driving here.
Yeah.
You know, like a lot of the mundane tasks that we do in life, going to work, doing things over and over, and we do it every day, and some of them take a significant amount of our day. That's not living. Living is when you, what is it, stop and smell the roses? Living is when you stop and you like see the code in the wall, like the Matrix.
Yeah.
Living is when you stop and you look around and you see where you're at.
Yeah, you're contemplating what is this all about?
And then you make choices based upon the conditions that you're experiencing, and that's actually living.
Yeah.
Just like going through the grind every day and the fray of life, I don't think that's living. It doesn't make you happy. It doesn't do anything for you. It wears you down. and then you know, I'm not saying we all have to like do. There's different stages of life where like yes, and some
Yeah,
take you have to
yeah,
work more
yeah.
here. So if you have kids, you have kids here.
Well, that's the thing is that it's not the way that I see it. We're not trying to knock living,
Yeah,
making a living,
sure.
because I hear it a lot where people are like, oh, people shouldn't be have to live like this and blah blah. It's like, well, it's just the way it is, but you can take some time and contemplate, even no matter how busy you are, and contemplate and be at leisure in philosophy. I like that.
Yeah,
Like you just picture this guy like on one of those couches, those Greek couches,
yeah,
with the
totally.
reading a book. Like, and but even though he's working hard at the rest of his life.
One of the things that comes to my mind also is that I quoted it in one of the several videos ago that we did. John Milton in his Il Penseroso.
Oh yeah.
Like I may be in my tower that I may be in my
Oh yeah.
lofty tower at night out watching the bear.
Yeah.
Like that's living rather than being watching Disney Plus. Which is if you anyway, I don't want to bash on Disney Plus. Mandalorian show looks pretty cool. It looks pretty cool.
Well, Baby Yoda's like everybody's going nuts.
I saw a
about it.
picture. I saw some pictures of Baby Yoda.
Baby Yoda.
Is that actually Yoda? Do you know?
I don't know.
Oh.
It's like, remember Muppet Babies?
Yeah.
That's what Disney does. They just like, oh look, it's gonna be cute.
Yeah,
There's
we're gonna sell millions by making this cute.
Anyway, I don't want to get into
I will
thing about Star Wars.
I will say that what I remember the most about Muppet Babies is that lady's socks.
Yeah, Nanny.
Yeah,
or
I think that's what her name was, Nanny.
Yeah, her striped socks. Anyway, okay, so another at the end of this it says, but we may fairly say that they alone are engaged in the true duties of life, who shall wish to have Zeno, Pythagoras, Democritus, and all the other high priests of liberal studies, and Aristotle and Theophrastus, and their most intimate friends every day. Well, where the heck is Plato? He didn't say.
Well, he chose Aristotle.
I know. Anyway, that's on to a book that we're both reading right now. Is Plato and Aristotle, The Cave and the Light. But anyway, so what did he say? He, all these great thinkers. Imagine, being able to kind of be able to think along with them.
Yeah.
The greats, and to raise your mind.
What's that painting called that Raphael did? What was it called? The School of Athens?
Oh yeah.
To be in there, right? To be on those steps?
Yeah, you can. And that's actually where oh yeah, that's where the next chapter 15 goes.
See, I'm right. I'm ahead of it.
Is he says right away, we are wont to say that it is not in our power to choose the parents who fell to our lot. You can't choose your parents.
Got it. Yeah.
They have been given to man by chance. Yet may the sons of whomsoever we will. Yet we may be the sons of whomsoever we will.
That's really profound right there.
Yeah. House, choose the one into which you wish to be adopted.
Yeah. Who? That's epic, man.
Yeah. You will inherit not merely their name, but even their property, and
you are what you eat.
Guard in a mean spirit. Wait, what am I?
Don't get lost, Mark.
I know. I'm kind of like, these will open to you the path to immortality. So what's he what the heck is he talking about with the parents? He's talking about what we were just talking about, walking with these great thinkers and stuff.
Yeah.
I
like that line. These will open to you the path to immortality and will raise you to a height from which no one is cast down.
Yeah.
You know what that reminds me of?
What?
That reminds me of a quote from Joseph Campbell. You know Joseph Campbell?
Mm-hmm.
Listen to this.
The guy that
Bonus.
wrote Man with a Thousand
Yeah.
or
Hero with a Thousand Faces. Bonus. Listen to this.
Joseph Campbell, his writing style is kind of like not very. Anyway, whenever I've tried to read it, I mean, he's got great ideas, but his writing is just kind of.
Yeah.
Have you noticed that?
Oh, this is not from Joseph Campbell.
Oh well.
I have so many quotes here.
Who's it?
I think it's from Socrates.
Socrates.
Socrates, yeah.
Okay. Look at all these quotes, Brandon.
Yeah.
You're walking with the greats.
I'm already here.
The so greats.
Socrates. Keep on talking, Mark. Keep on talking.
Let me. The only way of prolonging mortality, nay, of turning it into immortality. This studying with these people. That's the only way. It's kind of along with the Hermetics.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Like it's kind of getting that deep thinking. I mean, or getting beyond mortality, thinking, in your mind.
All right, here we go.
Monuments quickly sink to ruin. There is nothing that the lapse of time does not tear down or remove, but the works which philosophy has consecrated cannot be harmed. No age will destroy them. No age reduce them.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So I was way off on the.
Who was it?
Oliver Wendell Holmes. He was a Supreme Court justice.
He's
contemporary to Ralph.
He's very quoted.
Yeah, he's one of the most quoted Supreme Court justices.
Wasn't he the one that? Okay. Anyway, go ahead.
He's a contemporary to Ralph Waldo Emerson.
Oh.
Like they kind of shared like notes and stuff, and they sat on the steps of the School of Athens together often. Right. Okay.
They did.
They would write letters to each other. Yeah. Okay. A mind that is stretched by a new experience can never go back to its old dimensions.
Yeah. Yeah, expanding that mind.
Yeah. I think that's why philosophy is and this is what Seneca's saying. That's why philosophy is like timeless and immortal.
Yeah.
Is it because as long as there's people out there who can take it and internalize it, the world goes by around them in every age, and you still have like your great thinkers out there who pass it down.
Yeah, and not everything, and that's the thing. It actually reminds me of the Never-Ending Story. Where he can escape life through books.
Yeah.
Through books.
Yeah.
He's like, Tarzan, what is it? Anyway, but you can be heightened. You already said this.
Yeah. Talking about Bastion.
Bastion, call my name.
Do you know what that name is? Do you know what the name is that he yells out the window?
No,
I don't know if anybody does.
She's like, my mother. And also she's like, yeah. Like I don't think anybody knows what the name he yells is. But anyway, you can be so your mind is ever changed by or expanded. It's not going to retract.
Yeah.
By a good philosophy.
Correct.
So the life of the philosopher, therefore, has wide range, and he is not confined by the same bounds that shut others in. He alone is freed from the limitations of the human race. I like that.
Yeah.
All ages serve him as if a god.
Oh, this is deep. That's deep right there. That's like, this is where like the line between like this Hermetic and Stoicism's kind of like blurry. Like, wow, there's a lot of like shared insights.
Yeah, you're just like, I mean,
and to be honest, with other logics as well.
Listen to this. He makes his life long by combining all times into one.
Timeless.
So, that's the thing, is that a philosopher, like if you're reading these people, you can add, you're going with this long line of philosophers, who have through each other over time developed, and then you can add your own little thing to it. So it's this, it's unending
Yeah.
line of knowledge. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and that's the timeless part of it.
Yeah, I like it. So anyway, well, so that's the interesting thing on the whole philosophy, and no matter where you are in life, no matter what kind of parents you had or what
Yep.
parents you didn't have, you know, that you can choose who you're going to be raised by, or you can choose in your life where you're going to go.
And that's a point that I don't think we emphasized at all really at first is we spend so much time defining who we are by like where we come from and like
Mm-hmm.
what our biological DNA is,
Yeah,
or where
background.
yeah, what our cultural DNA is, and we define ourselves by that, and then we just spend our life being enslaved to it.
Yeah, yeah. You don't have to be stuck in it. You can, and and not saying that you're just going to totally rise up and whatever, but you don't, you personally in your own mind, and you know, no matter what the world situation is, you
Yeah,
can be rising up.
lift your
So
mind to a loftier sphere.
yeah. Anyway, so I think that's a super important message, and that's why part of the big reason why I was like, dude, we got to get into the Stoic stuff.
So
So,
I guess if we're gonna go in, are we going to 16 next?
well, I was gonna go to 17.
I
I
just
think
want to.
that's where I wanted to end, but if you want to go to
There's a
16,
I just wanted to discuss something about
yeah,
16.
all right,
So
all right.
one of the common concepts,
Ooh,
yeah, you see where I'm going? One of the common concepts I think that comes with a lot of this type of thinking is like what's that? What's that? What is that? Um, live today, or what's that saying?
seize the day,
Seize the
carpe
day.
diem.
Carpe diem. That's right. I should have known. Dream Theater has a song about that. Anyways, so carpe diem, right?
Dream theater.
Yeah. So in Change of Seasons by Dream Theater. Anyways, there's a whole concept of seizing the day, and not dwelling on the past, dwelling. And this is like a like any logic system that focuses a lot on like being present
Yeah,
and dwelling in the now often come with this dialogue of, hey, the past is the past, leave it alone,
yeah.
right? So this first line,
Oh,
Seneca is actually suggesting. It seemed like he's suggesting like, hey,
that's not.
to like don't forget the past.
Yeah. Okay, read that.
So he says, but those who forget the past neglect the present and fear for the future have a and for the and for and fear for the future
Yeah.
have a life that is very brief and troubled. So I think. So what do you think that where do you think he's going there, Mark? I'm gonna put you on the spot. Where do you think he's going? Like, I constantly am telling when I'm called to give someone advice, which seems to happen to me a lot with people. Like I'm often like, hey, it's in the past. Don't worry about the past. And I've been counseled to do that myself. And so,
Well,
is there a point when like the past is something that we need to like keep and that we need to hold on to? And some, what do you
well,
think?
you don't you learn from the past, right?
So yeah, I think that maybe I
Yeah,
think that's where I think
that's what
my
it
opinion
means.
is too is to use the
You don't
past.
forget it. You don't keep retreading it, but you
Don't let it have
learn from
don't
it.
let the past have authority over you and over your decisions.
Yeah,
But use the math that you learned from the path
yeah,
or from the past. Use that math and let it gain from it, but don't just drop it.
yeah.
Anyway,
And
that's all I
those who
wanted to say.
forget
I
the
don't think there's
past,
anything else in this chapter that really
yeah,
got.
neglect the present. Yeah. Anyway, they lose the day in expectation of the night, and the night in fear of the dawn. So that's another dark. Anyway, who knows?
So do you have stuff on 17?
Yeah, 17 was, what we were talking about at the beginning. Whenever, or towards the beginning, you were talking about like this is very entrepreneurial.
Oh yeah,
Like
okay.
kind of like, but you were meaning it more in the
I
kind of
wasn't meaning it in
do it
business, but
yourself.
yeah, correct.
But yeah, and I was like, well, this one I put as mo money, mo problems.
Yeah.
That was, and it's just a little part that,
Oh,
what do
that's interesting. Yeah.
um, there's just a little part I have highlighted. By great toil, they attain what they wish, and with anxiety hold what they have attained. Meanwhile, they have no account of time. Wait, that's not what I wanted to do.
Well, right before that, it mentions how they work harder to keep what they get. Like,
Oh,
yeah.
read that. That's the one.
Okay.
Dang it! I
So it
totally
said,
missed it.
moreover, what is doomed to perish brings pleasure to no one. Very wretched, therefore, and not merely short, must the life of those who work hard to gain what they work harder to keep.
I like that.
Yeah.
So it's kind of the thing, the cycle. I've worked so hard for this. I got it, and now I've got to work even harder to keep it.
Yeah.
It's like
Hmm.
it's kind of that thing when you get to the top of the mountain. Wait, no.
The mountain.
Oh, the Mountain Dew, dude.
Yeah.
But anyway, so it's just basically you're toiling all your life to get this, and then you have to keep on working. It doesn't just. That's the thing is that life. It's not gonna. It's kind of that I'll be happy when.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
mean, it's that's not the way it goes. You, and it's kind of like you you have to decide I'll be happy now,
And
not when. You
do
know.
and I think I don't mean not to be judgmental, but do we not see this everywhere, everywhere around us? That people just like there's no end.
Yeah.
Like there's like oh now they
Like
work hard, and then like they have to keep on working hard often because it's like
you get more money, you get more things to pay for.
yeah, and you can't downscale.
Yeah.
You spent so much of your life
Well,
upscaling.
yeah.
You basically will like
You need Disney
throw
Plus.
you basically are announcing to everybody that you wasted your entire life if you decide to downscale when you're later on.
Yeah.
Like what? Why did you work for all that and then get rid of it? You wasted your whole life.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah. It's kind of goes along the lines of that. There's no end to desire. That it's
desire.
not. You're never going to be able to satiate it
That's
unless you use. Be, I mean, unless you're using philosophy and stuff. That's the only way to satiate it is taking time to do something else. Because if you're caught up in that
yeah,
on that treadmill, or whatever,
yeah, totally.
it's just gonna keep moving, and maybe even move faster.
And desire is a big concept for eastward thinking too.
Yeah,
So Stoic, I think Stoic's kind of like in the middle sometimes. You can when you're looking at the Stoic concepts, you can kind of like see like it's kind of like a really nice middle place of good reasoning, good thought, and I'm not saying it borrows, but it definitely shares concepts from different
yeah,
philosophies too.
yeah. It's just kind of I don't know. I've enjoyed checking out, looking into some stoicism and stuff. But so that's the thing is, be careful what you wish for because you might get it, and it might be a lot harder than you think. So take some time out to really think about life, contemplate. Find some deep thinker that you actually enjoy. It doesn't you don't have to sit through whatever.
And find the deep thinker, right, that you enjoy, and then become the deep thinker too.
Yeah.
I mean,
Or think along with them
get
and see
to
where they take you.
this is going to sound a little like egotistic maybe, but like get to the point when you're quoting yourself, like your own thoughts.
Yeah. First Brandon, chapter 2, verse 6.
In the book of Brandon. No, but like, get to the point when like your thoughts you
No, don't get to this point. No.
no, I guess yeah. What I'm saying is like don't be dependent entirely on outward sources, internalize it as well.
Yeah, and make it your own.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because
Jeez.
the way you said it was kind of like, whoa, like what?
Hurry up! Cut the video! Stop it!
No, because actually in the letters to a Stoic, he's always it's written between him and who is it? A guy named Lucius, another guy named Lucius.
That's right. That's right.
But he's writing one of his students, back and forth, and he's always like, I just read Epicurus, something by him, and this is what I'd like to share with you. Even though that was a totally different school of thought.
Yeah, totally.
But he's quoting all these different people and saying, and so he's like, I really like this, and then he explains. He's able to add to it.
That's one of the interesting parts of this, right? Is when you're able to like look at things that right away aren't necessarily what you're leaning to, but you're able to take you're able to take what's there and to work with it and to like internalize it your way.
Yeah, that's a sign of a good life, or a well lived,
and that's a sign,
or a good mind too.
Yeah, and that's the cyclical nature.
Like,
we've gone back to philosophy now.
Yeah, I can actually read things from people I disagree with, but there's things in there that I can agree with.
That's cool.
So anyway, but just remember that life, who knows how much time you have, but do something, make the most of it. Not that it's a work in progress. It's not just something where it just happens. I know in my own life, it's a huge, lifelong journey, I guess.
Yeah.
Not to be, but
lifelong, huh?
Yeah. However long that is.
No, totally.
But
I like it.
It's a daily battle, and I'm not always winning. But
you're winning. You're winning.
No. Well, I'm not. No, but I'm just saying. But you're always trying to improve and stuff, and the more you learn, though, the more you're like, whoa, it's all relative, kind of thing.
The aha moments are great.
You're like, oh my gosh, well, this connects with this, and whatever, and it's really cool. So, anyway,
that's living, Mark. Connecting the dots is living.
Yeah. Whenever, yeah. So I really enjoyed. I recommend this Seneca.
Yeah, me too.
Because and the thing is that they're short chapters where you can just read one of them for the day, and then
that's what you started out doing, right?
Yeah. I was just like doing a little short meditation thing, and then I'd read a chapter and be like, oh, So then you have a little something to think about during the day, wherever you're at, and that contemplation. It's anyway. So I'd recommend it if like, who was that? Paul Allen, the book, the 24 hour, how to live on 24 hours a day.
I don't remember, but
anyway, unfortunately we don't.
You plugged him already this episode.
Yeah, I know. Arnold Bennett.
Way off.
Well, I'm just saying that's
Arnold Bennett.
That's another thing that. Well, let's just end this up.
Okay.
And hopefully, you enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I know.
Leave in the comments your favorite parts about Seneca's writings if you're aware of them, and if you're not, feel free to. These are short texts.
Yeah.
Read some and mention some of the. If we missed something that you think that was insightful, mention it in the comments.
These are all on the public domain too.
Yeah, it's really easy.
You can get them on LibriVox. You can get them PDFs. That's the thing, is that they're so easily available that however you would like to read them, you can.
Yeah, I agree.
And the books aren't expensive either. So the crazy thing is this one was printed up on December 1st, 2019.
That's yours is more recent, huh?
Yeah.
You gave me yours.
Yeah, because what was that thing? Yeah. Anyway, I was like, whoa. So they printed it right before they shipped it to me. What is that thing that Amazon uses? Anyway,
it's called Create Space.
Create Space, yeah. So they just print them hot off the presses as they're available. So make Seneca like hot off the press is like, oh my gosh, Seneca's trending.
Yes, Seneca's trending.
Seneca's going viral.
So let's
Anyway,
let Seneca go viral. Okay?
yeah,
And we'll talk to you in our next video, which we don't know yet what it's about. Do we?
yeah. I think we'll probably go back to the Hermetica.
Awesome. That'd be sweet.
Because along with one of the things Seneca said is that you want to stick with things for a while at least.
Don't be so flighty.
Don't be all over the place. And
Yeah.
we try to do that with the videos. Just stick with the different.
No, we done pretty good with that.
Anyway, so that our plan is to go back to the Hermetica.
All right,
And,
Hermetica then.
all right.
Talk to you next time.
We'll see you soon.
Should we keep on talking? Look to the bear.
I know.
All right.